With The Boys Season 5 giving us a V1 powered Homelander, I started thinking, okay, Homelander was already terrifying before, but now this man is basically walking around like he's God, and at this point he kind of is. And also now nobody in The Boys universe can actually go hand to hand with him and survive, or let alone even get off any punches. Like if you try to box V1 Homelander straight up, the fight is probably over before you even finish your first swing. And yes, I know the boys are trying to recreate Soldier Boy's blast to strip away his powers, and that might be the only real way to stop him in his own universe, but that's not what I'm talking about today. Today I'm talking about a straight up fight. Just V1 Homelander standing across from another character, and we find out who actually has what it takes to beat him. So today I'm going through a list of characters and ranking them whether they can kill V1 Homelander or lose. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. The tiers are very self-explanatory. Coming at the top tier, we have they kill V1 Homelander, honorable battle, which means Homelander will win in the end, but it's kind of like an Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight. They will put up somewhat of a fight, which means they'll do something, but inevitably they will lose. And no chances, yeah, obviously they're gonna lose. First up, we have the Terminator. Now, I hate to say this because the Terminator is very iconic, but this is kind of a horrible matchup. Now, the T-800 is terrifying, you know, if you're a normal human being with no way to stop it. T-800 can tank bullets, crashes, explosions, and a lot of punishments. Now, because Homelander is juiced up on V1, his lasers are absolutely insane. They could easily slice through the Terminator and kill him instantly. I'm not gonna lie, the Terminator will actually stand genuinely no chance. Maybe he'll get off a couple of shots, maybe even land a punch if Homelander plays around too much, but none of that really matters because at the end of the day, he will just get speed bliss. So yes, 100% there is no chance T-800 is going to do anything against Homelander. Next, we have Freddy Krueger. Now, this is probably one of the weirdest matchups on this list because Freddy does not fight like everybody else. If this fight happens in the real world, Homelander obviously destroys Freddy, there's no questions asked. But in the dream world, Freddy is basically a god. And Homelander might be one of the worst possible people to face Freddy because Homelander is full of fear. He is insecure, needy, and he's just obsessed with being loved and terrified of being powerless. Freddy would have an absolute buffet with this man's mind. Oh my god, Freddy will genuinely make this guy cry in his dreams, I swear. All Freddy would have to do is trap Homelander in dreams where everybody is laughing at him, pointing at him like, haha, you loser. But still, since Freddy can kill Homelander, whether it's one or the other, I have to put him in they kill V1 Homelander. Next, we have Iron Man. Now, this is where things get fun. Tony is basically if Batman decided to become a flying missile launcher with billions of dollars. Well, actually, Batman has billions of dollars as well, but you know, the first one still stands. And depending on the suits, Iron Man could absolutely give V1 Homelander a serious fight. If this is the basic MCU Iron Man suit, like one of his earlier armors, I don't think he really wins. Homelander is just too fast and too aggressive. Because if Homelander gets close, Tony is in trouble. But if we're talking about Tony with one of his stronger suits, like let's talk about, I don't know, the nanotech armor from Infinity War or Endgame. Now, Homelander is obviously not Thanos, but he is a completely different kind of problem. He is reckless, emotional, and fast. Like, he is not going to stand there and have a respectful duel with Iron Man. He's going to try to rip Tony out of the suit and then brutally kill him. Tony's best chance would be keeping the distance and finding some weakness in V1 if he can. Maybe Jarvis runs a scan on Homelander's body and he finds out what the weakness points are in his body with V1 Homelander. I don't know, maybe. But I think Iron Man could possibly win this, I'm not gonna lie. So this is why I have to put this in honorable battle. Next, we have Batman. And I already know some people are going to say Batman wins with prep time because that is basically the internet's emergency button whenever Batman is in a fight. But we're not talking about prep time here. As I said in the beginning, we're only talking about a straight up fight. And listen, I get it. Batman with prep time is dangerous. He has literally taken on Superman before. Like, that's pretty impressive, even though he, you know, hit him with kryptonite and basically stripped away all of his powers. But against V1 Homelander, Batman's problem is very simple. He is still human. If this is a random encounter, Batman is 100% cooked because Homelander could just speed blitz him or throw him through a building. Like Batman cannot physically trade hits with Homelander at all. Like, there is no world where Batman is blocking a punch from V1 Homelander and going, Nice try, bucko. Now I'll give him this. Maybe Batman could pull up with the armor that he used to fight Superman. But since we're giving him no prep time, he'll still put up somewhat of a fight because he is Batman. Now that I think about it, we would still have to put him in honorable battle because, you know, if I put Iron Man in honorable battle, we kind of have to put Batman in there too. Next we have the Hulk. Homelander's entire thing is overwhelming people with raw power, but the Hulk is raw power taken to a ridiculous level. The more angry the Hulk gets, the stronger he gets. And Homelander is exactly the kind of person who would make Hulk angry very quickly. He would act smug and then realize he just made the worst possible mistake. The problem for Homelander is that Hulk can take punishment that makes Homelander look normal. He's tanking missiles, gods, monsters, you name it, this guy's tanked it. And once Hulk gets his hands on Homelander, it's over right then and there. Homelander does not want a grappling match with Hulk at all, because once the Hulk gets his big meaty claws on him, he is going to rip his face off with absolute ease. Now I know Homelander has insane speed, so it's going to be really hard for the Hulk to catch him, but inevitably Homelander would just get so pissed off that it would make the Hulk even more pissed off. He would honestly probably try to just fight him head on. So yes, the Hulk definitely kills V1 Homelander, and I wouldn't even put him over Freddy Krueger because the Hulk beats him in the real world. Next we have Invincible. Now Mark has the stats to hang with monsters way above Homelander's pay grade, but he also has a habit of getting absolutely destroyed before finding a way to keep going, even with people that are far less stronger than him. And that is basically his superpower. Against V1 Homelander, Mark may struggle earlier in the fight because Homelander is just ruthless and he likes to just get things over with immediately. But Mark, as I just said, has fought people who hit way harder than Homelander ever could. He has survived Viltrumite level beatings, and the longer the fight goes, the worse it gets for Homelander, because Mark is not just durable, he grows through combat. I mean, look at the fight with Conquest. He learns while getting hit. So yes, inevitably Invincible does kill Homelander.
Yo, what's going on guys? DNads here, and next up we have Spider-Man. Now the version of Spider-Man I'll be using is the one from the Amazing Spider-Man universe. And I'll say right off the bat, I think the dude stands absolutely no chance to Homelander. Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters of all time, but I'd be lying if he comes close to even having a chance in killing Homelander. In terms of strength, I'd put them pretty equally, but I think I'd even give Homelander the edge, just because the V1 could have potentially increased it by even a little bit. Now as for speed and his laser eyes, it's totally wraps for Spider-Man at this point. Obviously he isn't bulletproof, so I most certainly think he could laser him in half if he really wanted to. And say he even doesn't use his lasers, he literally has super speed, which means he can run up on Spider-Man in an instant. Doesn't matter how agile Spider-Man is or how stealthy he might be, Homelander was literally able to move as fast as A-Train, so it's safe to say he'd barely put up a fight.
Now we have Omni-Man. This is where Homelander starts running into a brick wall. Nolan is basically everything Homelander pretends to be. He's fought in actual wars, he is a warrior, a conqueror, and a true physical Chad. Like, this is not a fair fight at all. Omni-Man is stronger and far more experienced. I mean, even though Thrag did beat his ass, he kind of at least did something to Thrag. I don't know, I can't really say something, but I mean, dude, what Nolan could do to Thrag compared to what Homelander can do to Thrag, I mean, that's all you really need to know right then and there, I'm not gonna lie. Homelander's lasers might annoy him, maybe even do some damage depending on how V1 boosts them, but Omni-Man is not just standing there confused. He is going to close the distance, grab Homelander by the neck, and then just do that little slice that the Viltrumites always do, off with their head. I mean, like, it's just gonna be an easy fight for him, so I don't even have to explain anymore. Yes, Omni-Man kills him. And next we have the Flash.
Now when looking at the Flash, I think it's a very different situation. And honestly, I think if the Flash really wanted to, he could easily defeat Homelander before he even blinks an eye. Even though we're going with the TV show iteration here, he's still extremely fast, faster than the speed of light. Although Homelander was able to catch up to A-Train pretty well, A-Train is nowhere near as fast as the Flash. Quite literally, the Flash is capable of slowing down time completely, to the point point where people aren't moving whatsoever. And before you say, oh well, A-Train did that too in episode 1, I'm talking to the point where the lasers wouldn't even be moving an inch. He could then either run through him or pull an Eobard Thawne and put his hand through his heart. And if that doesn't work, then the dude could just run back in time and kill Homelander as a baby. And with that, the fight would be over before it even begun.
And last but not least, we have Superman. I would just put Superman kind of over everybody on this list. But yeah, there's no questions asked there. I mean, of course, Superman, the guy Homelander is technically based off of, is going to lose to the OP originator. If you love talking about TV shows, movies, and character versus battles, join my Discord with the first link in the description. We also have a pretty active community who do character debates pretty frequently, and we also have power scaling teachers who you can ask questions if you ever need to. So yeah, join if you guys want to. Thank you.